Hey everyone, Natasha here. We are back for another episode of the F.E.A.R Chronicles, False Evidence Appearing Real. This is episode 8, I believe. And so I've titled this one, The Exact Sign I Needed to Take the Leap. So this is a really transformative moment in the journey. So we've kind of started from what could have been nearly 20 years ago to now. And so on episode 7, we left off with this new opportunity, basically, which was the next aligned step for me. So I have to look at my notes because there's so much and I don't want to leave anything out. So even though I was currently in a program that was helping me create the online platform and the signature program that is now the private practice burnout solution, I couldn't ignore the fact that I quietly had admired another coach from afar. And if you remember, I had said, one day, I'd like to work with her and I would do it once I finished this current program I was in. I felt like I had too much on my plate and there was a lot going on. But here's the thing. There was an online summit and I had quickly glanced through. It was coming up and I looked to see who the speakers were, and she was one of them. So as soon as I saw that, I was like, you know what? I've never seen her live. I'm in. So I signed up immediately, just for that particular session. I attended a couple other ones, but really it was just for that session, because that's really just how much I wanted to learn from her. And the session that she had, it was incredible. I mean, it was amazing. And she ended her session with talking about her birthday. And her birthday was coming up, and she was opening up these calls inside her group program that, kind of gives you a behind the scenes look into their world. And I signed up immediately. I was like, wow, 3 days of these free calls. Like, I got to know what's going on in there. Like, what's going on? And then the time came for these calls, and they're super early in the morning. And I was like, I got to make this work. There's an hour time difference. I'm an hour behind, but I made it work. I was like, this actually works great because this is before the kids get up and I should be up at that time anyway. I just had to shift a few things around and like going to bed earlier. So I'm actually up in time. So the next 3 days involved these incredible morning calls and connection with these beautiful people that were already in this community. And then, of course, a bunch of other people like myself who were just getting our first taste of what this was. And I knew by the end of the first day that I had to book a call with her team. And that's exactly what I did. I just was like, yes, I want to learn more about all the things before the 3 days were even up. And I knew in my gut that this was where I needed to be for the next phase of all the things for my growth. This was not just for business building. This was not, it was the inner work, what I felt like needed to expand. And it was self-development. It was mindset. It's the parts of me that I hadn't tended to while in this whole rebuild process, rebuilding my business, rebuilding my life. So oh my gosh, I'm lost. I skipped ahead of my own notes. So going back to the very first call of those 3 days, I felt like this immediate shift. At that point, like my eyes were opened and I realized that I could really trust my energy when making decisions. And sometimes I would even ask for a sign. So I'm in the program now. I've done all the things I'm in, and I hear about this upcoming retreat and for her group. And I hesitated at first. It sounded absolutely amazing. And I wasn't sure if it was for me. And if you've been following my story, you might remember that through my financial journey, I reluctantly went back to being a rehab director for 6 months before I walked away all over again because it just wasn't aligned. And during that time, I had managed to put aside some money. So I saved because, again, I was making consistent income, which I wasn't prior to that, as I was working in all these on-call jobs and working in my practice. And so I put money aside. I was like, I'm going to be smart and I'm going to put money aside. I didn't really know what the money was exactly for. So, I called it a rainy day fund. I saved and saved and saved. And when I found out how much the retreat was, I was like, what if I just count the money that I saved and just let that be my answer to, do I go, do I not go? Because it sounded so great. And I was just in this place again of just like everything was just like meh, lack of better words here. So I did. So I sat down one day and I counted the money that I had saved. I really hadn't looked at it in a while. For me, I just pretended it wasn't there so I wouldn't touch it. So I counted it, and the amount of money that I had saved at that day, at that time, because I had dipped into it here and there for small things, was literally the exact amount of the cost of this retreat. Not a dollar more, not a dollar less. It was the exact amount. So I took that as my green light to claim my spot on the retreat. So that's exactly what I did. I booked it the same day. I just went and was like, this is it, do it now. And that's what I did. I took the money to the bank and I deposited it, and I did the thing that day, and I was all in. So what followed was, I was already on this like beautiful journey, but from the day that I claimed my spot on this retreat, there was just this wave of different shifts. And this retreat was, a few months out from the time that I booked my spot. And these, shifts were personally, they were in my, my mindset, in my personal life, and professionally as well. It just kind of like opened all these doors for me, and it was just everywhere. And at the time, it also felt like my life was completely falling apart. Like nothing made sense anymore. Nothing was the way it was. And the reality was, because you can really only connect the dots going backwards, that what was truly happening from that point up until today is that it was shifting for me. It was clearing this path. It was moving me towards the alignment that I desired. And so let me just tell you that retreat changed everything. And that will be what the next episode of the F.E.A.R Chronicles will be about. And I am debating whether or not that will be the final episode. More to come on what I decide between now and then, but I will see you next week.